Welcome to Legend Leader. Today, we are going to talk about the life of one of the greatest visionaries of our time, a man who changed technology and the way we live forever. Today's story is about Steve Jobs. From being a college dropout to becoming the co-founder of Apple, his journey is full of inspiration, innovation, struggles, and triumphs. Stay with us till the end, because this story will show you how one man's dream reshaped the entire world. Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California. Right from the beginning, his life was unusual. He was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, a simple couple who raised him in Mountain View, a place that later became the heart of Silicon Valley. As a child, Jobs showed deep curiosity for electronics. He would spend hours in the garage with his father, learning how to dismantle and rebuild machines. These early experiences gave him a love for creativity and technology. But Steve was also rebellious. In school, he was intelligent but restless. Teachers sometimes found him difficult to handle, yet they also saw that he had extraordinary imagination. During his teenage years, Jobs' interest in electronics grew stronger. It was during this time that he met Steve Wozniak, a brilliant young engineer who shared his love for technology. Their friendship was the beginning of something that would later change the world. Even though their personalities were very different, Jobs being the dreamer and visionary, and Wozniak being the technical genius, they made a perfect team. After finishing high school, Jobs enrolled at Reed College, but after only 6 months, he dropped out. For most people, this would have been the end of their education, but for Jobs, it was just the beginning of a new journey. He continued attending classes that interested him, like calligraphy, without being officially enrolled. This decision, which seemed small at the time, later influenced the beautiful fonts and design of Apple computers. Jobs would later say, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward." Life after college was not easy for Jobs. He struggled financially, slept on friends' floors, returned Coke bottles for money, and often walked miles to get free meals from a local temple. But despite these struggles, his mind was always full of ideas. In 1976, at the age of 21, Jobs and Wozniak started Apple Computer in his parents' garage. They sold Jobs' Volkswagen van and Wozniak's calculator to fund their dream. Their vision was revolutionary, to build personal computers that were affordable and easy to use. At a time when computers were large and complicated machines used mainly by businesses, Apple aimed to bring computing into people's homes. Their first major success, the Apple II, became one of the most successful personal computers in history, and Apple quickly became a rising star in Silicon Valley. Jobs was not satisfied with just making machines. He wanted to create products that were powerful, but also beautifully designed and easy for anyone to use. This vision led to the release of the Macintosh in 1984, the first personal computer with a graphical user interface. The Macintosh introduced the idea of using a mouse and icons, making computers more accessible to ordinary people. It was a breakthrough moment in the history of technology. However, despite its innovation, sales were weaker than expected, and tensions inside Apple began to rise. Jobs, who was young and demanding, often clashed with others. In 1985, in a shocking turn of events, Jobs was forced to leave the very company he had founded. For him, it was one of the most painful experiences of his life. But Jobs later said, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." With a new sense of freedom, he started a new company called Next, focused on building advanced computers for education and business. Although Next did not achieve great commercial success, the technology it developed was far ahead of its time. At the same time, Jobs invested in a small animation studio called Pixar, which would later change the film industry forever. Pixar's first movie, Toy Story, released in 1995, was the world's first fully computer-animated film. It was a massive success, and Pixar went on to create legendary movies like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Cars. Jobs had once again proven his vision, this time in a completely different industry. Meanwhile, Apple was struggling. By the mid-1990s, the company was near bankruptcy. In 1997, Apple decided to bring back Steve Jobs. His return marked a turning point, not just for Apple, but for the entire technology industry. Jobs quickly made bold decisions and introduced innovative products. The first was the iMac in 1998, a computer that was powerful, colorful, and beautifully designed. The iMac was a huge success and put Apple back on the map. But this was just the beginning. In 2001, Jobs introduced the iPod, a small device that could hold thousands of songs in your pocket. The iPod revolutionized the music industry and made Apple a household name. In 2007, Jobs unveiled the iPhone, a product that completely changed the world. The iPhone combined a phone, a music player, and an internet browser into one device. It was more than just a gadget. It was a cultural phenomenon that redefined how people communicate and interact with technology. In 2010, Jobs introduced the iPad, a device that created an entirely new category between smartphones and computers. Each of these products reflected Jobs' belief in simplicity, elegance, and user experience. But behind the scenes, Jobs was fighting a serious personal battle. In 2003, he was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Despite his illness, he continued to work passionately. Even during his treatments, he appeared on stage to introduce new products, inspiring millions with his determination. His health slowly declined, but his commitment to his vision never weakened. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away at the age of 56. The world mourned the loss of a true innovator and leader. People around the globe paid tribute to him, remembering him not just as the co-founder of Apple, but as a man who changed the way we live, work, and communicate. Steve Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." His life was proof of that. From a garage startup to building one of the world's most valuable companies, his journey is a reminder that failure is not the end, but a step toward success. Today, Apple products are used by billions of people around the world, and behind each of them is the vision of Steve Jobs. His story continues to inspire dreamers, innovators, and leaders everywhere. Thank you for watching Legend Leader. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned, because we will bring you more powerful stories of leaders who changed the world.